How time flies, eh? Back in 2022, the GWM ORA Good Cat was one of the earliest EVs to enter the Malaysian market. Now fast forward a few years later, and the Malaysian market is flooded with many more newer EVs. And while this may not be the most advanced model on the market anymore, driving around in one of these is akin to driving around in a Lambo or Ferrari because all eyes will be on you, with phones being whipped out left, right, centre. Fast forward 2 years later, and detractors might say that the brand is not capable of taking the fight to the big boys. Well, enter the ORA 07. It now sits alongside the Good Cat and does battle with the likes of the Tesla Model 3 and BYD Seal. So now, we have the Good Cat taking care of the hatchback segment while the 07 goes up against the big boys, proving that ORA is more than capable of producing just cute city runabouts. But does that mean that the Good Cat is now irrelevant? Not so fast, because I reviewed this car last year and my stance on it was that it's a pretty good first EV, especially if you want a city runabout. And now it's even better value because of the ongoing price wars. The 400 Pro starts at 114,000 ringgit, while the 500 Ultra starts at 144,000 ringgit. So, if you want an easygoing city EV runabout, is the GWM ORA Good Cat your next perfect car? Let's find out. The main thing about the ORA Good Cat, more than its EV powertrain, more than its funny name, is its looks. Yes, we've all heard of the Porsche link, but if you haven't, just know that it's styled by an ex-Porsche designer. Although, to be very honest, I am struggling to see the resemblance because no Porsche looks this cute, and we all know Porsche owners need their cars to be aggressive to show how alpha they are, right? Which leads me to this, the ORA Good Cat. Definitely not an aggressive looking car. What with its round LED headlights and round bubbly silhouette coupled to these rather cute, nice looking 5-spoke 18-inch two-tone-ish kind of wheels wrapped in two 1550 tyres. Overall, it's just a very cute look. It reminds me of a giant surprised mechanical cat. Then we get to the rear, which is my favourite angle. Still cute, but futuristic at the same time, what with this full-width LED tail lamps embedded into the rear window. Now, pop open the boot and we get 228 litres, and it's no excuse for it. It's just small, okay? It's small. In fact, it's so small that I'm struggling to fit 124-inch and another 20-inch suitcase inside because the boot itself is not deep enough and the load lip is quite high. So yeah, you're gonna struggle to fit these inside. Good enough for the grocery run, but not good enough for the balik kampung journey. You can, however, fold down the 60-40 split folding seats to, make way for the luggage set. But again, if you're going back home with your family, then kind of cancels each other out, doesn't it? Okay, stepping inside, and it's just as good as I remembered. So the overall layout is very cute. It's not overwhelming for first-time users, and all the contact points, wheels, door handles, door cards, dashboard, they feel like they are covered in pretty decent quality leather and soft touch materials. Then there's also the colour scheme of the interior. It makes it feel very open and very airy, and gives you a sense that the interior is a lot more spacious than it actually is. One minor complaint I have though is that while the seats are comfortable and supportive enough, finding the right driving position is a bit of a problem because of a lack of telescopic steering wheel adjustment. That's not the end of the world, but it is when it comes to operating the 10.25-inch touchscreen. So the layout is not the most intuitive to begin with, and then getting to controls such as the massage for your seats or the aircon controls when you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto running is quite a nightmare. And it also doesn't help that the system can, from time to time, lag quite a fair bit. Now, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, they are here, present, but it's a wired setup, so I guess that frees up a bit of space for your passenger's phone in the wireless charger? I don't know. Anyway, saving grace is the video feed from the 360-degree camera. It's one of the best I've seen in recent memory. But in a car this small, it's also not that important. Okay, in terms of storage space, it's above average, I would say. So by the door handle, we've got a cutout here that could easily fit your access cards, touch and goes and whatnot. The door bins can easily fit a half-litre water bottle, no problem at all. And then we have a shift-by-wire setup, which means there's a lot of storage space. So up front, we've got 2 USB ports and 1 power socket, convenient. A tray to store, I don't know, your wallet and whatnot. 2 cup holders, and then moving back with the aforementioned wireless charger and a long but relatively narrow coin tray. Then the armrest, which now is a cat's paw, it's quite cute, I like that, opens up to a storage space that's not big but is quite deep. Seated at the back with the front seat adjusted to my driving position, I'm 184 centimeters tall and I have just about 1 tennis ball worth of headroom and 1.25 tennis balls worth of legroom. So it's not the best, not the worst, but I do have an issue with the seat base and floor height combination because I feel that my legs are still lifted a bit too higher than necessary, and so comfort on long journeys for taller passengers might be a bit of an issue. As for amenities back here, we only get 1 USB port and no rear air vents, so that is quite a problem. Now storage space, that's a bit better. We get 2 seat pockets. There's a cutout, the door handle here for your cards, whatnot. The door bins still can store a half-litre water bottle, no problem whatsoever. And the center armrest that opens up to a pair of cup holders. So, on the move in the city, which is where the Good Cat is expected to shine, it does fairly well. Let's get the tech specs out of the way first. This is the 500 Ultra variant, so for battery size, we've got a 63.1 kilowatt-hour battery, which gives us a claim range of 500 kilometers. The battery juices up a front motor, which puts out 143 horsepower and 210 Newton meters of torque. Now, in terms of charging speed, AC charging, full charge takes about 10 hours. DC charging at 60 kilowatt takes about 40 minutes to go from 10 to 80% state of charge. So why do I say it's pretty decent in town? So the way the torque is delivered in the Good Cat is that it's quite linear, it's not very abrupt. Now some EVs, some, not all, can deliver their torque in quite a shocking and abrupt manner, which is not the best idea for beginner drivers. Still, with that said, the Good Cat has more than enough power on tap to make short work of traffic where, you know, top speed isn't much of a concern, but more of how quickly you can fill that gap that's just opened up ahead. But ride quality is where I think things could be better. Now, it's a bit stiff and maybe that's to compensate for the added battery weight, which is fine, but I do wish that the suspension could have been fine-tuned a little bit better. All those small jolts from speed bumps, uneven surfaces, they get translated into the cabin quite clearly. At highway speeds, refinement, noise levels. Noise levels are a little bit noticeable. I mean, I would have liked a lot more soundproofing, to be honest, but with that said, it's only very apparent once you go above 80 to 90, maybe even 100 kilometers per hour. If you're in the city most of the time, then this is not an issue. High-speed stability and handling isn't too bad. I mean, yes, the steering is very vague, it's very dead on feel, even in sports mode, but if you were to throw this car hard into a corner at speed, it doesn't come undone that easily. As for safety kit and ADAS, now with the 500 Ultra, it's quite comprehensive. Okay, so besides ACC, AEB with forward collision warning, lane departure warning, lane keep and centering assist, on the 500 Ultra, we also have rear cross traffic alert and braking, rear collision warning, and wisdom dodge system. Now, don't laugh, funny name, but in theory, it's quite practical. So how this thing works is that it detects large vehicles within the proximity of the car, so lorries, buses, trucks, and whatnot, and then gently steers the car to keep a safe distance from it. So, is the ORA Good Cat your next perfect car? To a certain extent, yes. It has the looks, it has the interior, it has more than enough range to get you to work, to the supermarket, for your kids' school run, so on and so forth. But the biggest deterrent is the infotainment system, or rather, the software behind it. Sort that out, and you've got yourself a really competent city runabout. Because as of now, it's up against the likes of, in the same price range, against the likes of the BYD Atto 3, the Chery Omoda E5, both in their own respects, truly competent everyday EVs. But if you want to see what's it like side by side, you can always head on to WapCar.my and compare them. But what those two rivals lack is character, which is very difficult to come across nowadays, especially with modern cars. Sure, okay, the ORA Good Cat is far from perfect, but the fact that a lot of hits turn your way whenever you drive this thing has to count for something, right? It makes people feel good. So if you're willing to look past its flaws and you want something that makes you giggle, makes you feel a little bit happier than usual, while performing decently as a city EV, then take a good, long, hard look at the ORA Good Cat. And on that note, I think it's time we call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys know the drill. Please like, give it a subscribe, leave your comments below. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. Drive safe, everybody.